war. Now, if they go ahead with false flags and all the stuff they're going to do, and we got to defend ourselves, we got to defend ourselves when they come for us, okay? Or when they shut the economy off and let us fight it out. But the point is, you better reach out to the police and locals today instead of having to fight them tomorrow. I mean, this is a life and death emergency mayday situation. It's all real. It's all happening. Open world governments being announced. They're imploding Europe. Take Greece. It was first world, great nation. They're having tens of thousands are homeless every week, new ones. People are dumping their kids off. Diseases like malaria are coming back. I mean, the globalists will wreck you, like Argentina. They used to say as rich as an Argentine. They've wrecked them. They will wreck you. The Bilderberg Group says, we want to make everybody poor. They are the slime of the earth. And we've got to hit them hard. What did the Agent Orange do to your daughter?
Oh, she's had spinal bifida all her life. We were told she would not live more than 48 hours, but she's almost 40 years old. It was a miracle.
Beautiful.
But it has kind of helped really open my eyes to the fact that not only did my government intentionally and purposely lie, but it gives me motivation, Alex, every day to say, hey, I've got to inform other people about the GMOs. I got to inform others about the chemtrails. Do you know what was
declassified last year? Dr. Doug Rockey was on. He sent me the documents. I went and looked. Library of Congress, it's there. Do you know what they did with the Agent Orange?
No.
They added synthetic neurotoxin, basically cobra toxin to it. And it was actually a chemical weapon against the Viet Cong. And in the documents, they knew it would kill our troops and give them neurological disorders. So it wasn't just dioxin and the birth defects they knew that it would cause. That's why most people, after a few kids, that gets better because you can sweat it out and get a lot of it out of you. But my God, if you have a kid within a few years of it, look out. But
well, you mentioned resisting, Alex. You mentioned resisting this stuff. And another little thing that I did when I was in Vietnam, I refused to shoot a gook. Now, I didn't know about the Oath Keepers back then, and I'm involved with them now. And we're going to have a float in the parade coming up pretty soon. But just put your weapons down, folks. You're either going to stand before your maker and explain why you killed an innocent people because your government told you to, or you're going to stand before your general and get a court-martial.
And, of course, you're using the derogatory term they use to point it out, like they call all the Arabs Hajis and say they're subhuman. Do you want to tell the story, or are you done about who you refused to kill?
Well, that's up to you, Alex.
Hold on. We'll hear the story when we come back, and we'll get to more calls. Sick of the globalist, eugenicist, control freaks adding. This happens sometimes. We go to a caller, and it's particularly powerful. We keep them on for a few segments. I will get to Gordon, Rick, Ed, Charlie, and others. Ron Paul is coming up. It's only about 3 minutes long, then we'll get the rest of your calls. Okay, so you're talking about the derogatory term they use and everything. I know there were a lot of cases where they just lined people up and shoot them as the war got more desperate. And again, we have the troops using DU today, which kills the enemy, but then kills them years later. But it turned out they knowingly mixed neurotoxin in with the Agent Orange in much of the spraying. So that's another reason it hurt the troops so bad. And they knew this would do it. They tell our troops, oh, you can march in hours after we've sprayed it. And it just shows the people running things. Well, what did Henry Kissinger write? I mean, he wrote it. It's on record. He said the military are dumb animals, cannon fodder to do and to be tools. I'm paraphrasing it, to be tools of our statecraft, I believe is the exact quote. Guys, look up the Henry Kissinger dumb animals, the military are dumb animals quote for me. See, I'm not here doing that. I'm here talking to you straight, not going, I sure support the military. Thank you for the wars. Better support the military, support the wars for the bankers that run us. By the way, John Bound and the guys last night after they went and talked to Ron Paul and covered the big rally in Austin last night, they went to Double Dave's, local restaurant, and they're at Double Dave's Pizza, and they had the NFL draft on. And we're trying to find the clip, but they all saw it, and they said, it's time for the draft, and had the military march out a message of get ready for the draft. And they admit they've been getting the selective service ready and all this, but it's like every event's the military at it, just to get you used to the military being everywhere. And now they admit it's for martial law. But briefly, tell your story about refusing to shoot somebody. Was it in the case where you already had them there and you were supposed to execute them, or a massacre? Or was it, because I know if I was in a combat situation, somebody's shooting at me, I'm going to kill them regardless. What happened in your case?
No, Alex, it was the orders of the day that if there was any Vietnamese that came into a particular area, just go ahead and shoot. And this particular fella did not look threatening, and I dropped to my knee and took the safety off, and I started to squeeze the trigger, and I'm thinking, no, wait a minute. And I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't pull the trigger, but the man just stood there, and then he turned around and left. And I thank God to this day that I didn't kill that man. But I would die for my country in a minute, but my country is no longer the country that our founding fathers created.
No, it's not.
But Alex, here's something that's even worse. When I was in 24th Medical Evacuation Hospital, that was like an intensive care area, Mrs. Nixon was scheduled to come through. And at the foot of my bed, the sergeant in charge was talking about, you get this place cleaned up, you get these guys out of here, you mop this blood off, you get those bloody aprons off, you change the sheets, you change the pillowcases, you take care of this mess, and you bring in the guys from the other section across. So
they moved you out, and who were really hurting everybody, just to make a show for her.
I was the only one that stayed because my fever had broke, and my hand was well bandaged, and under the blanket she couldn't see nothing. But Alex, you've got to be in an intensive care area, and these guys that are waking up from their operations with their heads bandaged and opening their eyes for the first time and not being able to see and thinking that they're totally blind, and the screams. I don't know why people have a thing about war.
That's because they haven't been in it yet.
Yeah.
All these cowards think it's sexy.
She went through, I wanted to spit in her face to create a scene, but I realized it wasn't her fault. But Alex, yes, they did that. They moved all these guys out that were in terrible shape.
Well, there's a story of Heinrich Himmler, who actually went out to see people getting shot and threw up and couldn't handle it. Yeah, they don't want them to actually see what's really going on. Go ahead.
And they don't want the American people to know. They don't. I just, and that's what motivates me, Alex. We need to have, everybody needs to maybe have something personal happen to them to get them off their butt and do something.
Well, look at all the New World Order's done to you. Send you to a bogus war, Agent Orange, hurts your daughter with a mutation. I mean, it's just, and then I talk to people all the time. Oh, your son's autistic. I'll be on vacation. They're like, uh-huh. And when did it happen? He was 18 months old. Oh, the third round of shots? Yeah, he had a convulsion in the car. Or he had a convulsion there. Or he had a convulsion. I mean, and now they're saying, your children will have convulsions. It's normal with the new shots. I mean, they're killing us. They might as well take a gun and just shoot your kid in the head right there in front of you. I mean, it's just pure evil, and I'm done with it. Well, God bless you, my friend. You keep it up. Amazing story, Dave. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Amen. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wow, what a testimony. He said earlier, if you didn't hear it, 1,300 or was it 1,000 copies of my films they've given out over the years, making copies of them. Get the films, Invisible Empire, Endgame, Fall of the Republic, Obama Deception. Make copies. Make copies of the radio show, copies of the nightly news. It's having such an effect. We'll be right back.
We're on the march.
By the way, the crew, the always dogged and intelligent crew, did find that quote. We'll put it on screen for Prisonplanet.tv viewers. Henry Kissinger's greatest hits in Woodward and Bernstein's The Final Days, Chapter 14. This is what Henry Kissinger had to say. Military men are dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns in foreign policy. He went on to say, intelligence is not all that important in the exercise of power and is often, in point or fact, useless. No, you're a cancer, Henry Kissinger. Just because you can lie to people and do evil things doesn't mean you're dominant. It means that good humans who want to work together and build a civilization are blind to your cancer. I'm not, though. And I want you cut out. And I declare war on you. You and your GMOs. And listen, you and your cancer vaccines and PDDs and State Department Memorandum 200 about killing people in a world government, cutting off food, getting rid of family farms. I understand you got a lot of death under your kilt there, buddy boy. I understand you got a lot of skulls around your waist. And with these guys, it's like a rock star thing. When Brzezinski goes on stage, they're all, oh, it's him. He funded Pol Pot for the killing of 30%. And he writes books bragging about it. Yeah, I didn't kill 30%. But I sure funded him to do it, which makes it okay because Pol Pot did it. Everybody's like, oh, how smart. You had him kill everybody. Oh, yeah, that's really great. 30% of the population, you had him killed. Wow, that whole family's hacked up and shot. Man, that's really nice of you. But that is, wow, you're I'm impressed. You killed a bunch of people. Man, that's really impressive. You know, I could kill somebody with my bare hands in about 10 seconds. Very easy. You just take the governor off your mind, grab somebody, and just rip their head around the other direction. You'll break their neck. They don't get to the hospital quick, they're dead. Am I proud of the fact I can kill somebody? Am I proud of the fact I can flip that governor off right now and kill people? No. No, I know to control that and keep that under wraps. Only break in case of emergency. You people have this killer side, and you think it's beautiful, and it's wonderful, and it's so good. No, it's not good. And it's always these cowards, these blobs like Henry Kissinger, who just have a little bit of killer instinct, but a bunch of pervert instinct, and they run around doing perverted stuff. And perverted doesn't just mean the TSA groping your kids. It means GMO, splicing technologies, creating all this death and destruction, just wrecking things to show off because they get off on it. That is aberrant. That is perverted. You are perverts. You are perversion in creation. You're cancer. And I've said this 100 times. I'll say it again. If, and I'm going to Ron Paul on your phone calls, if cancer had consciousness in your body, let's say bone cancer, metastasizing in your bone marrow, it would say, man, I'm taking over. I'm growing through all these cells. I'm programming everything. I'm going to send a bunch of little cells out all over the body, and I'm going to take this over, and this tissue is going to be me. The problem is if you study anthropology, sociology, civilization, history, all of it, you guys are cancer. And you start taking over, and you're like, well, we can do whatever we want. Because you are malfunctioning. You are screwed up. You are perverts. Cancer is a pervert. It is a perversion. It is a malfunctioning, ugly piece of garbage that seeks to make everything like it is. But the soul is what is truly pure if it chooses to be, and if it flows out of that system. So they can try to make us ugly physically. They can try to twist our DNA and deform us, but it's our heart and our soul. The globalists want to tell us all day that humanity's ugly because they want us to think we're like them. They're ugly inside, so they want to make everything ugly on the outside because it makes them feel better. Well, let me say something. I have already, in my gut, in my spirit, in my heart, in my ancestral genetic instincts, in everything I am, humanity is going to survive. You are going to be defeated, and I declare victory against the New World Order here on air in the name of Jesus Christ. And does that mean I'm perfect? Does that mean I have all the answers? Does that mean I'm a perfect vessel? Absolutely not. But it means this. My heart knows where it is. And that's why you seek with pharma and the chemicals, the biologicals, to ruin our psyches so you can then program us. But God won't let our free will be taken. It doesn't count. It's cheating. So it doesn't work. You lose. You fail. And this is what happens. It's only when humanity is attacked by this ultimate threat of dehumanization, the total computerized takeover grid, the automation grid, only now will the basic instinct and the spirit of humanity in the image of the Creator activate. And now humanity is activating. The power systems are powering up. The resistance core is forming. The giant that is free humanity is beginning to rise.